The superintendent is just on his way now.
What?
Okay.
Said the superintendent's on his way.
Oh, I was, I've got a bit of... I've got a radio on in my radio while we're waiting.
Turned off.
You're a fast runner, Superintendent. We must have a race sometime.
I am indeed.
Come on, turn the radio on.
Apologies, he seems to have an inability to sit down.
Oh, did he fall asleep in that chair?
He did.
Yeah, he won't be able to get back in it then. It is... The chair is not a chair anymore.
Maybe Lewis and Ainsley could switch seats.
No, if they both stand up and then sit down at the same time, then there you go. They've both got a seat. No, you're in this. You're not gonna be able to sit down. That chair's
Right.
forever now.
Buddy joined your channel.
Righty. Commander Knight, may I remind you that everything said in here
Sound
will be said
muted.
under caution, so you do not have to say anything, however it may harm your defence if you fail to mention, when questioned, something which should later rely in court, anything you do say may be given in evidence, okay?
I understand that, Chief Superintendent.
Good, I'm glad we're on the same page. Now, all that's going to occur today is you're going to hear all sides of the argument. I understand we've all given statements prior to this event. And we're going to hear all sides of the argument, and then we're going to make a judgment. It's going to be a very simple process, and I hope you'll appreciate that a lot of time has gone into organising this, Commander.
That is correct. Will I find the documents, the copy of the documents in this piece of paper here? That's been supplied.
No.
Will I not? So where am I going to see these?
No, you will not.
So I can read them as we go through.
They are still classified at level 3 until the conclusion of this investigation, Commander.
So throughout the entirety of the investigation, there's no evidence being brought to me for me to be able to defend myself on said evidence. Is that correct?
A man who is innocent does not need to defend himself. Now, Superintendent, may I ask that you start? Do you have anything that is a burden that's on your mind that you'd like to say?
Right. Thank you very much, Chief Superintendent. Now, obviously, Commander, you've been suspended under Regulation 15 of the police for alleged misconduct. That's correct, yes?
That is correct, yes.
And you've been permitted to retain your police uniform as well as enter this police station on the grounds of this misconduct hearing, correct?
That is correct.
And you have been given a copy alongside your immediate supervising officer of the public notice of investigation that was issued and signed by yourself, outlining the investigation officers as Chief Superintendent Sanjeev Punjabi, SI Lewis being myself, and SI Ainsley. That's correct, yes?
That is correct.
And Assistant Commissioner, would you mind acknowledging that you have in fact been sent a copy of the private classified document?
I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Commander, you have agreed to the 8 declarations as such within the notice of investigation. Have you agreed to them? And you have voided the opportunity to discuss this case with your immediate superior officer when granted by the Chief Superintendent within this room?
I did discuss it with him. I asked him what he wanted the outcome to be, and he said just wait till the end of the case. I've also spoken to him over the radio. Well,
okay.
We messaged each other over the radio, giving me some advice, so I didn't void it. I did use it.
That's fine. Now, if it's perfectly okay with the Chief Superintendent, I'm going to jump into the statements and discuss what you have also stated yourself relating to this case.
That is absolutely fine. Proceed, Superintendent.
Okay, Commander, I'm going to be blunt with you. We are fully aware that there's been some manner of misconduct carried out within the situation at hand, if not by yourself, by other people on also on call at the time. All we're here is to get to the truth of it, and if you be entirely honest with us, as you stated you were last night with myself during a statement given in the presence of Deputy Commissioner Cheeky Breaky. That's all I'm asking for, complete honesty. So whenever I ask questions, please do just answer them to the best of your knowledge. Okay. I'd also like to remind you that last night you did in fact admit to possible misconduct in your own statement. Is that correct?
Please repeat that, Superintendent.
Last night in your statement directed towards myself, you did, when asked the following question, you were asked the question, do you personally believe any manner of misconduct was carried out by yourself or other officers involved? You answered in so many words that you felt there was a manner of misconduct, if not by yourself, but by other officers, correct?
I said there could have been possibly some misconduct on my part for something I mistakenly said rather than ran around a corner.
Okay. And can you remind this hearing what exactly was said?
The French words "fuck off" was said.
Okay. However, it wasn't only the phrase "fuck off" that was said. It was said in an almost patronising tone, and you admitted to breach of the declaration yourself last night during
I didn't admit to it. Could have been a possible breach. That is the only considered possibly.
Okay, well, we do have audio recordings of last night's statement. We are going to review them as we go along here, certain parts of it, just to confirm everything that you're saying is truthful. Unfortunately, we haven't had a moment yet to document exactly what was said, but we do still have the audio recording in storage.
Mr. Assistant Commissioner.
Now, obviously, a large part of our declaration is to challenge and report possible misconduct. If you felt there could have been a breach of misconduct declaration, do you feel like you took every appropriate measure to either report it or challenge it?
As I said last night, to the best of my recollection, I do not remember seeing any other officers break standards of procedure in that situation. There were multiple instances where officers were away from me being able to hear them, being able to see them, alongside officers being alone while I was doing other things.
Okay. And if it would satisfy the Chief Superintendent, I'm actually going to read the statement issued by Johnny Price, the main person filing this Police Complaints Commission case. Is that okay, Chief Superintendent?
Absolutely alright.
Alright, so last on the 15th of August 2019 at 19:04 hours, Johnny Price, who is currently a civilian on the island of Altis, we don't have too much records of him, after being drawn attention to his police caution, give the following statement. So it started with me getting arrested by Officer Krakoon, that is Detective Senior Constable Krakoon of Criminal Investigations. Jack Knight and other unnamed officers at the time began with himself, Johnny Price, and Zach saying, "Do you enjoy taking the fun out of people's days?" That's quote unquote. Even though we both didn't have a chance to pay our tickets, I'd also like to comment that there was some manner of slander exchanged between both parties. Obviously, we cannot hold the civilians accountable for their words, however, we can hold the police accountable for theirs. Then Krakoon, and the statement was issued, and Jack Knight, however that was later corrected by the person issuing the statement, saying, do we need to get your parents to come and sign a consent form? Now this statement was issued by Detective Senior Constable Krakoon at the time. Krakoon has not been suspended due to his compliance in the case. He will be further questioned at a later date, I'm sure, and we will draw attention to his possible misconduct also. Johnny Price then responded with like your 12-year-old mate. Then his friend Zach said, "Oh, just piss off. We are not in the mood." Then I was speaking to Jack. This is Commander Jack Knight, as the statement issued. And that's when the impersonation of his so-called Scarso accent took place and more abuse followed, and the name calling continued. I'd also like to make it perfectly clear that Johnny Price was asked the question, does he know Jack Knight or have any other prior relation with him? The answer was no. Johnny Price also signed and declared that that his statement was truthful to the best of his knowledge. Now, Commander, this is the first you've heard this statement, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And how would you respond to that statement? Do you believe that there's a manner of truth behind it?
So the first thing I'd like to get into the end bit where he was asked the question, if I'm not wrong, of if he knew me.
Yes.
And obviously he signed it in the declaration. He signed that it would be completely truthful. Now, in the end instance of him denying knowing me, is a complete lie. In fact, we're both serving members of the National Health Service on the island. That we've met each other both on and off duty. When I arrived at the prison, in fact, because I wasn't the arresting officer, I wasn't part of his arrest. He was arrested when I arrived at the prison. But when I did arrive at the prison, Johnny immediately referred to me as, "Oh, is that Jack Knight?" Obviously, knowing who I clearly was. I never told them my name. I never gave them a badge number. I never gave them any identification because they didn't ask for it. So that's two false things I've already found in that statement.
Just interjection, if you don't mind. Chief
Proved.
Superintendent. Okay, I'd just like to clarify that although your name wasn't formally requested in the manner of I have you...
Sorry, apologies, Superintendent. Chief Inspector, do you mind not approaching quite a sensitive case with a helmet on, your weapon out like that? If you're going to come and stand in some form of guard duty, please take your helmet off and get in your normal patrol uniform.
Am I free to continue, Chief Superintendent?
Apologies, Superintendent, proceed.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'd just like to make it clear that although no formal request for identification was issued, according to the accused here, Commander Jack Knight, the following statement was issued. Is this Jack Knight? That was the question. Although it could not technically be seen as a request for identification, it could still be seen as a request for a name or confirmation, some would say. Apologies for the interjection. Feel free to continue.
That's perfectly fine. At the time, obviously, I didn't see it as a. He obviously knew who I was. I walked in. I didn't have any mask on. I was just in my tactical support team standard patrol gear. My face was viewable. Obviously, you can hear my voice and everything. So I assumed he'd understood who I was by hearing my voice. And obviously, I know him too from being both a National Health Service member and meeting each other both off duty as medics. And I've met him while I've been on duty as a officer. There's been multiple instances where I'd say we've been together in a friendly manner in the MPAS office with a fair amount of people. We were talking, I was with myself and my deputy one night, we were talking about some changes to do with MPAS, and we started having a conversation about nothing police related. So we decided to invite some of our friends in. We had a chat, we played a few games on the console I've got in the MPAS office, and we all later went home to bed. Johnny Price was in the group of people who did come to the NPAS office. Now, referring to... Go ahead.
Superintendent. I would like to actually call an unexpected witness, if that's okay.
That is absolutely fine.
Chief Inspector Raven, or Shelby, I believe you call. Would you mind just stepping forward just for a moment? You're not in trouble. If it would satisfy Chief Superintendent, I would like to just read him as caution.
That's absolutely fine.
Alright, Chief Inspector, you don't have to say anything, however, it may harm your defense if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. I'm also going to hold you to the police declaration in reporting misconduct or improper behaviour and challenging that. I would just like to ask you a very simple question in relation to what the commander just said. So, to the best of your knowledge and your understanding, is what the Commander Jack Knight just stated regarding being in the MPAS office, which I believe is situated at this very HQ, and playing consoles with the complainant Johnny Price, is that accurate?
Yeah, that is accurate. We were just having a friendly conversation one night in the office. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, thank you very much for your statement, Mr. Shelby. You can return to your post. Yes, thank you very much for that.
So, getting onto the part, let me just, can you refresh my memory about the age part, the consent form? That's the one. Did your parents sign the consent form for you to be here, or something along the lines of that? No, I don't recollect myself saying this at all. There was a period of me when just before. Obviously, in my statement, there's a part of it where I tell everyone to roll out. We go back on standard patrol, but just before that was said, as I was obviously walking away, there was some muffled voices and laughing, let's say, towards the complainant, which happened. But I obviously wouldn't have heard that as I was walking away and getting into my police issued vehicle. #hunted SUV. The #hunted is the number plate. It said SUV. Is a TST black SUV.
Okay. That's perfectly fine. Thank you very much. Much of that does, from my own personal recollection, match up with what you said last night. However, I'm also going to I'm also going to refresh your memory on something which you said last night in the formal statement which you issued to myself, and we've just confirmed in the audio recording that you did in fact say, you actually admitted to saying, quote unquote, fuck off. We've already discussed that. However, you also admitted that it could have been seen as mocking because you used a Scouse accent, which the main complainant is now. Commander, I'm sure you can understand that. Okay, that I'm sure you can understand that as a police officer, whenever we arrest somebody, even if they are a juvenile, which sometimes they are, even if they are an adult, no matter who they are, no matter where they come from, no matter what age they are, anything along these lines, we treat them all as equal. We actually have that in our declaration, equality. Okay, and mocking somebody's accent, even if it's not intentional, is a breach of that very declaration that you agreed to upon joining the Altis Police Constabulary. Do you deny it?
I don't deny me saying I don't deny it was a breach of the standards of procedure. Obviously, as I did state in my statement as well, it was a miscommunication. It was supposed to be my radio only, but I was talking instead of running. Obviously, that the muscles are very close together. So when I did say it was only supposed to go to the other officer involved, or he wasn't involved, he was in my radio with me. Go ahead.
Approved.
Regardless if it's said towards the person or behind their back, it is still a violation of the declaration. And in fact, some would argue saying it behind his back could be seen as more insulting. Right? It's unacceptable to insult somebody's accent or judge them based on any manner of
Hey,
their
wake up.
character. It is not befitting of this constabulary, and you haven't denied breaching the declaration. In fact, I asked you, do you deny breaching the declaration? You said, I do not deny it. This is in fact your second openly admitted breach of the police declaration whilst in this PCC.
So, you said, what was it about me using it to offend him or insult him? You said insult him. It wasn't being used as an insult. In fact, it was being used to get my own, let's say, how would we put it? My own range on different accents I have the ability to do. because we do have times where we're in the office. We've done it in the Empress office. We did
Apologies,
different accents.
Commander.
There's been multiple instances where
Commander.
we just do different accents and we try and get
Commander.
better accents. Yes, Chief Superintendent.
Can you please give us a demonstration of this accent that you can apparently do with competency?
With competency, I never said it was with competency, Chief Superintendent.
But you said you
As
had
I
the
was,
ability to do, did you not?
Trying to get the ability to do. As I said, it
Ah.
was Will Wicks. We were both talking about it, and he explained to me that it was a not good accent that I was doing. It was a terrible accent, and I thought it's not that bad. And I was trying to improve
Interjection.
it, let's say. Go
Proof.
ahead, Superintendent.
Right, Commander, do you believe that what you did to the complainant Johnny Price was fair? Do you believe that it is fair to mock somebody's accent in any manner, even if it was not intentional? I'm going to ask for a direct response. That being yes or no for both of them.
If
you
I
can
was
come in here, can you take your
mocking
masks
him,
off, please?
then no.
Chief
yes,
Superintendent,
no, I
can you
don't-
please order the commander to answer directly?
Excuse me.
Commander, please answer the question directly.
Can you re-ask the question, please, Superintendent?
Do you believe what you did to the complainant Johnny Price was fair in any manner?
Take your mask off, please, if you're gonna come in.
Take your mask
If
off.
it was being used to insult him, then no, it is not fair.
Can you please
Alright.
answer the... Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a yes or a no, isn't it? It's sufficient in the future, Commander.
And Commander, are you familiar with the Equality and Diversity Declaration within our police handbook?
I am familiar with that, Superintendent.
Can you please read it out for this hearing? If you do not have the handbook ready, I will do it myself.
If you give me a couple of seconds, it's just flicking to the pages, if you know what I mean.
That's perfectly acceptable, Commander. We can wait.
So, it is the equality and diversity. I will act with fairness and impartiality. I will not discriminate unlawfully or unfairly.
Thank you very much, Commander. And you just admitted to being unfair to the complainant in open violation of the Declaration. That is now 3 violations of the Declaration that you have done in this very PCC manner, based on 1 misconduct hearing.
If I treated him unfairly, or he felt the way he was being treated was unfair, I'm more than happy to give an apology for it. Obviously,
Yes,
as
Commander,
I've
but
said,
you are...
it wasn't being used against him. It wasn't being used to insult him. It was a friendly. It was a bit of a friendly and inside conversation with myself and other members of the tactical support team
Commander,
on the
but you-
Trojan 1-1 channel.
Oh, apologies.
Apologies, Superintendent. Commander, can you tell me how friendly it seems when the individual who was on the receiving end of it actually reported you? Doesn't seem too friendly then, does it?
As I said, Chief Superintendent, it was a miscommunication. I was supposed to be running, not talking.
And where does the swearing come into it?
That is when I assumed I was running, apparently not, I was talking.
Now, Superintendent, can I ask you to review the other breaches of the Declaration that he has admitted to, just to refresh our memories? If you wouldn't mind.
Oh, apologies. Apologies for the informality. It was just well, island-wide announcement that's struck quite dear, apparently. Yes, the other declarations that you breached. Conduct is the main one, obviously accused. Additionally, your duties and responsibilities could also be breached, which I'm going to go on to. Alongside which you openly admitted to doing there now, equality and diversity, which could also lead to authority, respect and courtesy, and challenging and reporting improper behaviour. Additionally, if you have remained inhonest or lacked with any manner of lack of integrity, then that could also be breached. Commander, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you as a superintendent of this constabulary. I do believe you've openly violated multiple actions under the Declaration, hence why you're remaining under suspension under the Regulation 15, and I do not believe that you should currently be serving as a commander if you're going to carry on breaching these declarations. I hope that doesn't seem unfair to yourself, but in the eyes of this PCC, and as one of the investigating officers, I do not believe you're fit for duty at this moment in time.
See, Superintendent, I would agree with you if it was an...
Just wait a moment. Just wait a moment.
If we could have
Chief
the
Inspector, could you go...
feedback.
Hold on 1 second, Commander. Chief Inspector, could you go and Just sure that helicopter won't be making any more noise, please.
We can do it.
Can I just ask a question, Chief
We're currently having
Superintendent?
a court hearing. If you
Cool.
can take off any.
If I'm not wrong, this is a closed case. It's very sensitive and only minimal people need to be here. Am I wrong?
You are wrong.
Yeah, I'll be.
And how am I wrong, Chief Superintendent?
Wanted to see how you guys do it. If I'm honest with you.
Sorry, say again, Commander.
Is this a public is into everyone on Altis? Is it public for them to just walk in and watch?
I mean, it is a public event, yes. Anybody can attend if they wish to have an officer be held under the radar publicly. We police by consent.
We do
So
police
I
by
think it's
consent.
only expected that you can answer to the public directly. Do you not agree?
I do agree, but when they're obviously making noise, I think that they shouldn't be sitting there when I'm trying to defend myself, Chief Superintendent.
Well, if they make any further disruptive noise, I'm sure one of our wonderful officers who are standing around with their firearms out can go and remove them from the building if they are too disruptive.
Along them all chucking notes around, laughing. If
I
I'm
see
not
no
wrong,
quarrel at the
Chief
moment.
Superintendent, this was supposed to be a meeting, an interview. Yet we're sitting in a courtroom.
This is a
acting
hearing.
as though it's a court case.
This is a hearing. You are in a shed. It's not a courtroom.
We're in a warehouse, not a shed.
It is not. It's not a courtroom. This is merely a hearing.
It is literally the Kavala courthouse, Chief Superintendent.
What is your point, Commander?
My point is this is not a court case, and should that this not be being conducted in the interviewing room at the top of Kavala Police Department?
Right. Well, I feel this is a perfectly appropriate place as we have the room and seating for a high capacity of people. If you look around, we have adequate measures to protect ourselves, and if you notice, everybody's being perfectly orderly. I think the ladies and gentlemen in the audience would all agree that this is quite a nice experience to have an officer held under the radar, as we are policing by consent.
Policing by consent and having everyone know private business are two different things, Chief Superintendent.
Indeed. But this is not a private business, this is about your office. Okay? You're a commander serving in the office of specialised units. Okay? You are leading the National Police Service and you will be accountable. Do you understand?
You understand, Chief Superintendent, but I don't
Perfect.
think
Well then,
necessary to have
well
the
then we can.
entirety of a terrorist
Well then
force
we.
which is
Well
legally
then
a
we may
terrorist force
proceed.
assigned in
Commander,
by
please do not
myself
speak
when I was
over me.
an
Superintendent.
ex-governor.
Commander, please. Superintendent.
Thank
Do you have any
Right.
further points you'd like to raise?
I do have some further statements that I would like to make people aware
Of
of.
course.
However, I would just like some moments just to prepare some notes with the superintendent behind me relating to the matter, as there's been a slight change. If you have
Well then
any
I
other-
call for a brief recess. We will resume this. We will resume the hearing in 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. Super. Can I just
I
confirm
don't
with
know why you all see the need
the
to wear
guard?
your combat equipment when you're going to a court
Yeah.
hearing.
Who's like the lead of this guard at the minute? Raven, is it you?
Assistant Commissioner, can I speak to you on the radio, please?
Raven, can we just confirm that
Hello, buddy.
Havoc have been searched to ensure that there's no manner of illegal weapons?
Well, I
Morgan,
haven't been
shut the fuck
searched
up.
because you see, there's a lot more of them than.
Right, man.
Yeah, well,
We have been searched
Don't
and
worry,
expect
Tell
tell us soon.
You've not been. Okay, well, if you want to all
Put you
exit
on
the
a
courthouse, and we'll
Alright,
sort
everyone
this
come
out
out here
outside.
and you're gonna be searched.
Gentlemen,
for-
we'll go through an orderly line.
Constantino.
Just be a
Alright,
simple
line
line.
up.
Assistant Commissioner, can I speak to you on the radio, please?
Perfect.
I've already been searched, so like.
All line up against that wall, please.
Can you not shut up and just let him speak? Fucking hell.
Any havoc, please come outside. You have not been.
Yeah, I've already been searched.
No, I don't think you have.
I got pulled over by Michael Constantino like 5 minutes ago, throwing my weapon out, and he searched me. And he went, "Yeah, that's all fine."
Well, you're going to be
We don't
searched
have
regardless
very
of
much.
whether you don't have
gentlemen,
special
can you
treatment.
please exit the building while we are in recess?
Mr. Superintendent,
Justice.
Mr. Zach was also in a similar situation with the
Thank you, sir.
free to go back in there?
Yeah, you can
Wait,
go
someone's
back
gonna
in.
like my seat. Move.
Let's not keep
Sorry, I was
it.
just
Let's not
praying.
let it go too
Inspector.
rowdy.
Excuse
Your
me,
phone's
we've
looking a
been
little bit
searched.
dirty
Can we
there.
go
We've been
back in
searched
now?
already,
Sir,
mate.
please
Thank you
get
very
out
much.
of the building whilst
Thank
we
you.
assess.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I've got a
What?
couple
He
of
just
people
told us
there,
to
you
come
know what I
back
mean?
in a seat.
You get me, G?
What you saying? I'll just keep this guy
If
restrained.
you're in,
Next one
if
sec,
you're in
I've
the
got
room,
Scott,
please,
the assistant
be
commissioner.
quiet and assure that you're not causing any further disruptions. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Of course, pal.
Mr. Commissioner, if you'd like to come in. Assistant Commissioner, would you like to come in?
Excuse me, Inspector.
Sure.
How's everyone's day doing, lads? How are we all doing?
Would you please
Oh,
search the
perfect, mate,
vehicle
perfect.
for me?
Found out I've got
The man who originally
we're taking
reported this
Mr.
man, and
Boyden
it
back to
caused
the
all this
station.
by accident, so you know.
Assistant
Right.
Commissioner, feel free to use my office.
Yeah, I know what you're saying,
At
mate.
the station.
So what you think of support?
Mate, this kid is getting fucked, man.
Which one of these people
He's getting bummed in
Yo,
the
you
arse,
boys,
I'm telling
you boys
You're
sound
close
familiar,
enough.
mate. Whoa.
Yeah, I know, you sound a bit familiar.
All of them.
Yeah, you know what I'm
You know,
saying?
mate.
Yeah,
no, mate, I know.
Seems to be quite a lot of saltiness in this room.
If
you
you'd like to
know.
say
That
back from
gets
the
a lot of
assistant commissioner,
PTSD from being incarcerated.
Yeah, so
Yeah, he's a bit of a nonsense, so like,
Boy,
you
come
know,
on,
he's got
don't be lazy. Oh, not a nice college, you want to take it outside?
Well, they're entitled to
What about
have
this one?
556
What about this one?
as stated in our
Stand up,
handbook,
mate.
So provided
What about
they
me?
keep it in their backpack, that's absolutely fine, alrighty?
Just making sure it's fair, you know? I'm not allowed to be lazy, so you're not allowed to be lazy either.
Hello, Abby!
As long as it's only 556.
Get
That's
fucked.
fine. That's
Yeah,
fine,
it's fine, nice to
alright.
meet ya.
Just make sure
name?
Okay, guys.
Make sure we're keeping slightly quiet.
You know, this man likes to fit it in wherever he can. You know what I mean? That's keep his exercise.
Is that you?
Where's
The trial be
No
taken, yeah?
fucking way, I'm the chief inspector.
Ah, there you are, there you are, there you are.
Fucking hell,
Chief
mate.
Inspector, man, just washing your
You're
clothes.
out
You have a little bit
loud.
of dust right there.
Yeah, man, where's your fedora
Same
at?
to you,
Full
Superintendent.
fedora friends.
Are you still DM pass?
Full fedora friends,
no
mate.
problem, as long as it's not in the person.
Is he doing?
Order!
Commander, we're
Come
about
on,
to
don't
get...
be lazy, lads, stand up. Come on, lads, don't be lazy, stand up.
Clothes are still quite dirty.
Stand up, don't take the seats.
Okay, so we're
Oh, that's
reviewing the
fine,
case,
start the
correct?
scene.
Don't take the seat.
Chief
Come on,
Superintendent,
stand up.
myself and
Inspector, can you please remain with the
Avery
commander?
Come on, mate.
Make sure he doesn't get anywhere.
I think those seats are for the jury.
Don't let him leave the
Hello?
ambulance.
Is he having a brain fart? Hello?
Hello!
Not having a brain fart.
Sorry about that,
excuse
officer.
me,
I
sir,
was
would you mind
having a
stepping
picture
down?
tuck. I was having a picture tuck in the old chair, you know what I mean?
I boarded the control order.
Okay.
And it's sexy man.
Does everybody calm down? We're just about to
Yes.
begin. The commander is on his way now, and as is the Assistant Commissioner of Intelligence. Alright,
So I would just like to say thank you for your service.
no problem. Everybody, if we can take our seats, if not, can we just sort of stand behind the seating area so we're not just in a bit of a cluster in the centre of the hall?
Every have a
I
gather
work
around
for
me.
Peter. That earth
Every
is
have
my
a
seat.
gather in here.
That's fine.
Which one of you is the highest rank?
Alright, can every green man in
I
here
am, but I'm
sit
not in
down on
charge.
the ground, on the ground?
You are.
Just
Who's in charge then?
Green man. I'm in
This man
charge.
here is in charge here.
I'm in
This
charge.
man.
Alright, can I have a word outside?
Okay.
Yeah. Yo, watch your bum watch your bum
I do appreciate everybody's cooperation.
Oh,
That's
nice
my
one, mate.
bummer.
Nice one, mate. Sound, I'll eat that in the corner.
So basically, left some of your gats over by the
Pepper,
piles and we're
what
a
are
bit
you doing in
concerned
the
'cause anyone
courtroom?
can just walk in and pick them up. Can you get that sorted? 'Cause obviously we're fine with you having them as long as they're in your vehicle.
Wow.
Okay, so
Yeah.
bailiff, the
Alright,
time's unlocked.
Chief
But
Superintendent,
no,
myself,
there's guns,
and
guns
Avery are
laying
prepared.
around next to vans and the cars
Alrighty.
and stuff.
Did you get it? Here you go.
Yeah, guns laying around next to the cars.
Yeah, man.
There's guns,
Well,
sparse,
according to the
16s
ABC
or
handbook,
If it's alright with you, I've just ordered for the food for us all. Should be in like 5
Is that
minutes.
enough?
One moment.
Okay, but
They've all
there's
been searched.
legislation that states them as terrorists
There we are.
in relation to
Yeah, get me a chicken korma, yeah.
Well, officer,
Guys.
yeah, nice one for
Commander, can you please
Gentlemen,
stop
please remain
inhibiting my
quiet,
inspector?
otherwise you will be
Now, please
removed.
I'm not inhibiting anyone,
got
Chief.
Domino's
You've
coming.
been
Get
told
yourself
I'm
back in
dealing
the
with
warehouse,
something.
please. We're resuming proceedings. Thank you very much,
Until the
Inspector.
trial begins.
What's happening now, mate? What's happening now? Just chill.
We're waiting on the commander, who appears to be running quite slow.
Please walk this way.
Officer,
I'm straight, man.
this man behind me keeps fiddling with my bummer. Can't stop.
If you feel uncomfortable in this room, sir, you can leave.
Fine.
Righty, we'll wait for this another annoying helicopter to pass. And then we shall begin. Once it's landing, it's whatever it's doing. Right, is everybody ready? Is everybody alright? Is everybody seated? Is everybody comfortable? Or if you're standing, is everybody happy? We are going to begin now. Right. Superintendent, have you had a satisfactory amount of time to go and address with your colleague there what you're going to be saying?
Yes, Chief Superintendent, myself, and the other
no
superintendent
masks
do
when you
believe
enter,
that we
please.
are satisfied to continue this.
Go in there and get a guy for me called Niswald.
Okay, can you
Proceed
tell me
then,
what he looks like?
Superintendent.
Alright. Commander, I've only got a few more
Green-
questions to
green
ask you,
uniform.
before I'm
that's
satisfied to
everyone
conclude
here.
this.
Oh,
If you don't mind, gonna
unlock,
hold
I
you
need to
still
put
under
this in the
caution.
bag.
If you require that to be read to you again, can do so. I'd also just want to hold you to the entirety of the declaration, or what remains of it that you haven't broken. Okay?
Yeah, if I could ask you put your mask in there as well, please. Thank you.
That is fine, Superintendent.
Okay. Commander, during the entirety of the events at hand, do you believe that at any point it went too far? I'm asking for a direct response, being yes or no.
Yes.
Alright. And Commander, do you believe that the situation in the events in question could have been seen as serious, or at some cases far too serious? Again, direct responses.
Alright, are you letting me in?
Okay, Commander. And do you believe that you were the cause of any of the escalation?
Sorry, is there a seat for me? Sorry, excuse me. Sorry.
No, you're standing up.
Back off. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Commander,
Repeat
do
the
you
question,
believe that
Superintendent, please.
do you believe that you were the cause of the escalation at hand?
The escalation? No, I don't believe I was the cause.
Okay, I'm going to read a segment of a statement given by a member of the Criminal Investigations Department. I am not going to name his name, however I'm going to issue the statement regardless. Things quickly became more serious as Jack Knight spoke, mocking his accent in order to make fun of it. I suppose the situation escalated from there. There was laughing and the situation went on. That is the statement that was given to us, Commander. Do you dispute it?
I do dispute it.
Feel free.
So, in that statement, as Jack, you said as Jack mocked his accent, there was already an extreme amount of arguments between Krakoon and Johnny before I'd even said anything like that. He was getting quite argumentative with a civilian.
Commander.
Commander,
Yes,
do you deny mocking his accent? Yes or no?
I don't deny mocking his accent.
All right, so yeah, so you did in fact mock his accent to some extent. Yes or no?
To an extent, yes.
Right, thank you very much. Carry on.
So there was a fair amount of arguments, a fair amount of switched disrespectful words between Krakoon and I've just been okay. Between myself, not between myself, between Krakoon and Johnny himself before I'd even arrived. They continued to argue with each other about why they were arresting. Something along the. I did say in my statement that Johnny said that. Krakoon said he'd arrested him because he likes arresting people and ruin their fun or something along those lines. I said last night, I believe. So I dispute the fact that it was me that made it go further. Me that is a cause of it continuing and going to an extent it shouldn't have went to. I do dispute that, and I do think it was Cocoon himself, as obviously officers are held on their own responsibilities, especially when it comes to a commander, since I cannot give orders to any officer unless they are in impasse. So I am not responsible for any of Cocoon's actions, and him continuing to argue with the civilian is on his own back, and he chose to do that out of his own free will, not the fact that he was being ordered to. Go ahead.
Oh, I didn't know it was trigger. Okay.
Commander, Cocoon isn't the one being questioned here. We are not questioning the actions of Officer Cocoon in any manner. We are questioning your actions. I'm going to ask you to stay on topic with that.
No, I am staying on topic, Superintendent, and I'm just defending myself, making sure you know the statement that has been provided is false and untrue.
Commander, you're attempting to almost shift the blame to somebody else. This inquiry isn't towards Cocoon, it's into the actions of yourself. If other officers did wrong, you can make a statement relating to that at a later date. However, at this point in time, I'm going to ask you to stay on topic and avoid slandering other officers with unproven details.
If I'm not wrong, Superintendent, everything that's currently happening here is unproven other than statements.
Yes, and that's why we're doing it in a formal manner.
May I make a comment? Commander, you have admitted on multiple occasions to a breach of the police handbook, specifically the declaration. At this point, I think we have met clear grounds to go and discuss this with the Assistant Commissioner of Specialised Units to issue some form of punishment. Would you not agree?
I would agree, yes, Chief Superintendent, and obviously it's a full right to do so.
If it would satisfy you, Chief Superintendent, I would just like to remind the court of the... can we get that man some water?
Come on, Paddy, let's get outside. Paddy, let's get outside. Come on, Paddy. Come on, Paddy. He's having a fit.
Can we get that man some water? Is he okay? Is he okay?
Alrighty, please be seated.
Guys.
Quieten down.
Say again, Superintendent.
I would just like to remind you, in this proceeding, you have openly admitted to multiple violations of the declaration. Now, you said that you have the handbook open, and I do believe you should still have it open at the page. I would like you to read the very top of the police declaration, avoiding anything in prevent.
Yo, have it, guys. Paddy's falling in the water.
Sorry, please repeat that, Superintendent. Just, you briefly cut out.
I'd like to ask you to leave.
Can we have them please removed? Quite disruptive.
Shut up! Don't worry about it.
They're not with us, just for the record.
Sorry.
Oh, I do believe, Commander, the Superintendent is asking you to read the top of the declaration.
That's fine. By joining the Altis force, you... I can't say that one. Signed a declaration. This means you have agreed to the following. Failure to do so will lead to your removal from the Altis Police Constabulary.
Now, would you say removal is a fair punishment for the things you have admitted to today?
I wouldn't agree with that being a fair punishment.
Does it not specifically outline? Does it not specifically outline that it will lead to removal if you breach such declaration? Can I please ask for silence? You have admitted to multiple breaches of such declaration, meaning that you could quite easily fall under the category of removal. Would you disagree?
That is true, Chief Superintendent.
I think he's woke up.
What would you feel like is a fair and appropriate punishment for this event?
That isn't my position to say, Chief Superintendent. That's
I've asked you a direct question.
And I've given you an answer, Chief Superintendent. It's
No,
not
you
for me
haven't.
to say.
You preferred it. I've asked you to say.
Excuse me. Let me sit down.
I have no experience in being a superintendent or chief superintendent or any of the ranks that deal with police complaints commissions and how they are handled and what punishments are given out. So I cannot give my opinion since I do not have any experience with said.
Thank you for failing to answer
Chief
the question.
Superintendent.
We shall move on to the superintendent when he returns.
Can we shoot him now?
Please be quiet.
Can you please quiet down?
Apologies, gentlemen. I just had him need to go to the bathroom.
Sorry, Sergeant, please close the door. Sergeant Sewell, or Chief Inspector. Oh, thank you.
Commander, I do believe that in my absence, the Chief Superintendent asked you to read the top of the handbook and then questioned you regarding what you personally believe to be a fair punishment on the matter. Is that correct?
That is correct, Superintendent.
Can you just remind me of what you answered whenever he asked what you believe to be a fair punishment for what you have admitted to violating?
What I answered is I do not have the knowledge, experience necessary to say what would be a fair punishment here.
Commander, do you run the National Police Air Service?
I do.
Do you
I
have
am
to
the
issue
chief of the
punishments within the
units.
National? Do you have to issue punishments within?
Punishments, yes, Superintendent, but what punishments
Do
I
you
choose
have-
at my own discretion.
Okay, so do you believe that we should utilise our own discretion within this case?
You have every right to do so, Superintendent.
Okay. Alright, Commander, I only have one more question for you. Actually, I've got two. One, do you respect the police declaration?
I do respect the police declaration, Superintendent.
Then why have you openly violated the police declaration on multiple accounts? How do you, we police by consent, and you ought to
I do police by consent,
and you ought to
yes,
respect
but as I was saying,
the citizens of this island. Do you believe that you showed adequate respect to Johnny Price?
Can you repeat that, please?
Do you believe that you have respected our constabulary, our declaration, and the citizens of this island? More accurately, Johnny Price, the victim of this entire case.
I respect them all, yes.
Do you? Then why do you openly violate it? Why do you lie during open investigations? Why do you openly admit to breaking the police declaration on multiple accounts? And why do you just continuously do so?
Where have I lied in this case, Superintendent?
Did you or did you not say that you respected the police, the declaration, and Johnny?
I do, and I'm not lying by saying
Yet
so. It
you
wasn't my
violated
intention,
it.
Chief Superintendent and Superintendent. It wasn't my intention to disrespect said declaration.
Of course, Assistant Commissioner.
Okay, if it's okay with you guys, I'm just going to send Raven, Jetan, and Ben to go and assist at HM Treasury, as that is currently in operation.
Absolutely fine.
Daily exercises, guys. Carry on.
Shut the door on the way out.
Commander.
It's alright, I got it.
I have no more questions for you other than this. Do you believe that you should remain as an actively serving police officer after this case?
I do, Superintendent.
Thank you very much. That's everything, Chief Superintendent. I have nothing else. Superintendent Ainsley?
No, nothing from me.
You know exercise can do.
Superintendent. Assistant Commissioner, do you have any further comments to make?
I have no comments to make, no.
Commander, do you show any resentment for your actions that you've done over the past 24 hours?
Looking back on it, Chief Superintendent, yes, I did do wrong, and I'm more than happy to give Johnny, if that's what he wants, an apology.
I don't feel an apology is quite appropriate for the severity of this case. From my experience.
More than
We
happy
can
to
sit to the PCC.
compensation for any harm.
Compensation.
done, Chief Superintendent.
Compensation may
Any
not
time
cover
taken off work for coming to
the
this
distrust
case, Chief
that
Superintendent.
you have
The
caused
time
for the
and
Altis
effort
police.
he put
Do
into
not
his
talk over me,
statement,
Commander.
Chief Superintendent, I'm more
Commander,
than happy to compensate.
please remain quiet.
Fire.
Do not claim that you can issue an apology and compensation as a solution for this situation. You have brought distrust on the police force, you've embarrassed the police force, and admitted to multiple breaches in the declaration. If I were in your position, I'd be ashamed.
But you're not in my position, are you, Chief Superintendent?
Now please leave. Now please leave. This is the Commissioner.
More than happy to leave,
I'm
Chief
going to be resuming the
Superintendent.
suspension immediately after this case, and we shall discuss this matter further.
Okay, let's go shake hands. Let's go shake hands with him.
This
Thank
hearing
you
is
very much,
concluded.
Chief Superintendent. Thank you very much.
This hearing is concluded.
Thank you very much for having me.
Can I go shoot him now?
Thank you.
Yes. Wait, I need to go yell shame.